Coach Teresa Ford here, and this is the Guiding You Home podcast. This is a thought-provoking and often humorous approach to moving you closer to the only one who can genuinely help you live a life of abundance and prosperity. Sound good? Yeah, it's you that needs to go within so you can sit in the driver's seat of your life, co-creating with God. So make room for more light and knowledge. As you continue to listen, you will discover elements of how to lead with your inner light, how to act on your specific promptings, and how to follow your spiritual intuition so you can fulfill the measure of your creation. Thanks for being here, and let's dive in. Welcome, and we're back for another episode of Guiding You Home, Building Confidence to Go Within. All right, so this is a topic that I have addressed a little bit in other videos and other episodes, but we're going to dive deeper on this, and it's not easy to hear, but here we go. Everybody wants things to be different, but not everybody's going to choose to change. Woo! Did that give you the yucky gut soup? We want things to be different. Why? Because we're built for more. Of course, we want things to be different. We want more and we want better and we want to grow and expand. That is what we're here to do. However, if we want things to be different, we must also be willing to be a cooperative component and be the change we need. If we are in cooperation to what it is we want to be different, then this is going to be easy. And if we are in resistance to it, it's paddling upstream against the current in a windstorm. It just gets really hard. And when I say it gets hard, what I'm referring to is the resistance of trying to get somewhere and we're still doing the opposite. Let's say you're trying to grow a business. Let's say you are an entrepreneur, you've got this dream, you want this business to explode, you want everyone to receive the benefits of the services or the products that you offer. But up until that point, you've always just held a job. You've had a position at another company and you've just been able to leave work and leave the work behind. And so when you're off the clock, you're really off the clock and you go do whatever you wanted to do. Let's say that in this new entrepreneurial position where the bulk of the company's success rests on you, but you're still trying to do what you used to do. Like when, 5 o'clock hits, I'm off the clock. I'm going to go and shop and be social and, veg out and watch Netflix and then expect that you are going to be able to grow your business, scale your business, hire the employees, get the people on board, all the responsibilities that are now yours. But when 5 o'clock hits, you're off doing the thing you did before you became an entrepreneur. That is 100%, 1000% going to keep you stuck because you're working against it. Literally, when you quit a 9 to 5, you just signed up for 60 hours a week. And so if you're still trying to live the 9 to 5 life, you are paddling upstream against the current in a windstorm because your business downstream is going to require you become someone else. Let's say you come from a codependent background. Let's say that your life was just a crazy show of what not to do. And you've had relationships that reflect what not to do over and over and over. You're like, I'm so tired of having these toxic relationships. I'm so tired of people taking advantage of me. I'm so tired of being somebody's mommy. So you want something different. I want a healthy man. He's independent. He doesn't lean on me, but he's thoughtful and he's offering and he's sharing and he's giving. And you're like that. And so it's just going to be a match until you break the habit of caring more about somebody else's problems than they do. You will not attract golden dream of how you want things to be different because you haven't changed. And you can change locations, and that'll make it feel better for a while. You can change jobs even, or friend groups, and it's going to make it feel better for a while. But the problem is, wherever you go, there you are. The things that are stopping you from doing this thing that you're like, oh my gosh, this is being an entrepreneur, hardest thing ever. Hard, very difficult, because you're becoming somebody every day, every minute to your clientele that you've never had to be before. So the change is rapid. It's a lot like parenting, actually. Parenting, your kids are like, watch me, watch me. Did you see me? Did you see me? I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm like, all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have to be 45 things all in the exact same moment to 3 little kids. And it's who you have to become every minute, every minute, every minute, every minute, every minute. And then pretty soon we're like, forget it. Time out for everyone. Can't do it. It's too hard. Not, business shuts down, good mom goes away. And let me also say, moms, you're doing your best. This is just the way it is. It's just the way it is. It's like, the first 3 hours of the day is like awesome. And after that, it's just like, oh, I'm so tired. Okay. Entrepreneurship is the same. The first 3 hours of the day, wow, I'm getting stuff done. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I have so many problems, I can't solve them all. It's okay. But it is that process of having to become the person that you need to be to show up in the world and do the job that you imagined yourself doing. But if we don't change so that things can be different, then we keep getting what we've always gotten. And we know that saying, right? That's the definition of crazy, is expecting things will be different without changing. We keep doing the same thing we've always done, right? So here's a little tip. If you actually want things to be different and you're ready to turn your little boat around and start going with the flow of life and stop resisting the thing that you say you want to be different, every time you notice there's some resistance, let go. Just hands in the air. Stop trying to control the direction of this thing that you want, because as soon as you start controlling it, it gets harder. Next thing you know, you turn around backwards, sitting in the boat, facing the wrong direction, and just going for it with the paddle. That's just a habit. It's just a habit of forcing things to be what we want them to be. And it may have worked, but it may not be working anymore. So the best advice I could give you is hands in the air. Stop working so hard at it. Just let these answers unfold, right? You're going internally. How can I be a parent beyond 3 hours that I really want to be? What's going to be required of you to change the way you were? It's like, after 3 hours, I have no patience. Everybody's in timeout. I don't know. Here's cereal for the next 3 meals. We don't, like, what's happening there? My guess is, if you say you don't know, you probably do. But you're not giving yourself credit. Maybe you're in overwhelm and you're like, oh, I didn't do it right, so everything's white. None of it counts. If that's the case, and we want to do it, we want it to be different, then you need to change the idea that everything that you're doing is your best effort. And that one wrong move or one moment of where you lose your patience isn't the end of your opportunity to show up and shine. So I was running a fitness business, and numbers and I are not friends. And I was like, ooh, I'll run a special. I will give everybody $100 off that signs up today. And I was like, because I'm not a strategist. I'm like, ooh, shiny. I'm just shoot from the hip, right? And so I'm like, I got a whole bunch of women to come in. They're like, $100 off, I'm in. Let's go. And I was like, that was so fun. And so I just put them in the system. at that price point. And what I forgot to do was make the offer last that first month. It was the sign up offer. It wasn't forever and ever. I made this huge mistake of all this money of $100 off every month for these people that I didn't catch that part. I didn't change it in the system. And I was out thousands of dollars. You know, for a moment there, I was like, what am I even doing in this business? Like, who do I think I am to even run a business? Clearly, I can't run a business. But you know what saves you from paddling upstream for too long against the current in a windstorm like that? A short memory. I was like, whoop, okay, from now on, lesson learned. I got it. So then I could change to become a better businesswoman, a better entrepreneur, and save my bottom line because I was willing to learn from it quickly and then be the entrepreneur I knew I could be. So if you're doing something and you're like finding it very defeating, maybe it's just a habit of thought. Maybe you're just like this focuser that can focus on worst case scenario like no one's business. But then that's true. That means you're like one of the best creators on the planet because you can actually reverse engineer that. You can shift it. You can turn it downstream. You can go downstream with your thoughts that are easy. Downstream is easy, right? Upstream, hard. Downstream, you don't even need a paddle. You're just going with the flow and the ease and the harmony of life. Down you go. The stream knows the way. So if you're in that ease of, not a problem. I've got this. I'm just gonna go downstream. What are the chances you're going to get the thing you wanted to be different? I wanted my business to be different, and I didn't even know that I had a financial leak. What I wanted to be different was to be profitable. And I had to change my mindset and stop for a second and ask, why is this so hard? Where's the money? Like, I thought I would have plenty of money. And turns out I had to just think a little bit harder and catch something and then become that person. But if you've been in a codependent relationship, a narcissistic relationship, like you had to be a certain person for those people. And now you want things to be different in any future relationship. We have to do what ease and peace and change looks like, which is going to be a little bit harder than just that example of finding a financial leak, because you have to become somebody that is no longer people pleasing. You have to become somebody that is no longer self-abandoning. You have to become somebody that doesn't care as much about everybody else's problems as they do. Like you have to become that person. That does take time. I just want to say, like, if you want things to be different, you have to be willing to change, and that change is going to be a moment by moment recognition of who you need to be. Oh, I feel so bad for that person. I'm just going to go give up all my free time today and go do and help them. And they never asked you to. It's different if it's your family or a friend, and this is not how you normally operate. Like, we're not used to like, oh, I'm going to have to cut my paycheck and leave early so I can go help so-and-so and do their work for them when they're perfectly capable of doing it. That's probably the caveat that we need to talk about the most. That's like the loudest thing is like, if we're doing for others what they can do for themselves, now we're enabling. And that is a wound in you. Like if that's you, that's a wound. And so there's a difference between serving, ooh, lights me up. Just gonna go help somebody with this thing that they need help with. I'll surprise them. They won't even know I'm coming. And they're so delighted and so appreciative and so grateful. And they just thank you for thinking of me. That is a very different mindset. That's the difference that you're looking for in yourself. If you normally like, man, why am I always the doormat? How come no one else cares as much as I do? How come I'm always the one left holding the bag? That is the wound. So if that's where you've been, that's where you find yourself now, and you want things to be different, then you have to give up those habits of giving away your time and energy and resources so that somebody else can be happy, even though they should have done this thing for themselves, but it was just expected that you would give up everything for them. So can you hear how this can be like there's some gray areas, and I would love to help you work through some of these gray areas, because if you're like, well, this is what I want, but I don't know if the thing I'm doing is really what's keeping me stuck. Let's work through that, because if you want things to be different and you're willing to change, that is the caveat. Just saying, if you're not willing to change, you're going to be deflecting. You'd be like, oh, and I'm going to tell a story about this person and how they annoyed me all day. And I'm going to tell a story about how my job sucks. And I'm going to tell a story about how I drive the worst car on the planet. Like, you will deflect, and it never actually comes back around to you are the reason you feel stuck. So I invite you to reach out and ask better questions. Well, if this is my situation and this is what I want, and I can't see what's happening in the middle and why this is so hard for me, reach out, ask that question, because I'm more than happy to help you go home, go within, and find the answers to the test. I don't know what you need, but God does. Just saying. So thank you, my friend, for listening and being here and contemplating all these different ideas. And it's not the things that I say necessarily, it's the things you hear. That's where your work is. All right? Thank you. Until next time. Thanks for listening. I invite you to leave your feedback and share your aha moments as you listen to this podcast. Also, you can access more information or any of the programs, courses, or worksheets that I've mentioned on these episodes on my website at teresaford.life. Or what I would really love is for you to connect with me on Instagram at teresaford.coaching and on Facebook at Coaching with Teresa Ford, so I can give you more interesting insights and further coaching to help you fulfill the measure of your creation.